made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 75. Hunter Keister back with
K-Mac. We back. Episode 75. Let's get it.
Let's go. It's a big one, and we got some big news out of the NHL to start this podcast off. We got the NHL Draft Lottery. That's what I was trying to say. Happened last night. Wow. What a crazy night. Obviously, you know me, big Blackhawks fan, and well, Chicago went into the night with the odds to get the 5th or the 4th overall pick. That was where their projected was, and they come out and they win the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, and they will pick number 1 overall in this year's draft at the end of June. I think that is just, it's crazy, you know. Obviously, I'll just give my little 2 cents about that. As a Blackhawks fan, I mean, you find out they're not going to re-sign the longtime captain, Jonathan Toews, this year. After, you know, they trade one of the best players in Blackhawks history, Patrick Kane, at the trade deadline. I mean, now, you know, you had really little to no hope going into next year, and you didn't really know what direction this team was going to take. They had some pieces, but nobody really to be that it factor, that guy, and now you definitely have him in Connor Bedard, who lit it up in the juniors in Canada. Didn't play in the American ranks, but did it all the way up into the ranks in Canada, and he's only 17, so a lot of room to grow. But big night, big win, and a generational talent for Chicago. I want to kind of just break down what happened, how this NHL draft will shake out in June. So we got the draft lottery here. We obviously got Chicago picking at number 1 overall. But moving down the board, we see Anaheim end up sliding in at number 2. They had the highest odds to select the first overall pick, but it was ultimately Chicago who, ping pong ball gods were on our sides, as I was saying often throughout the day yesterday. Please, I was praying to the ping pong gods.
Really were.
And this was just wild. I couldn't believe it. You know, obviously, as we'll talk about through this podcast, the NHL and ESPN especially just botched the draft really bad. And some of the moments that happened are just unexcusable for as high as the pick was, and just shows you how undercoverage hockey is still around here. And, you know, I tweeted about it last night, about how I just thought that it was undercoverage and that stuff like this shouldn't happen. But nonetheless, we see Anaheim coming at number 2. Behind them, Columbus. And, you know, we got to talk about them a little bit. I saw them last night as the NHL is rigged tweet went around the Twitter sphere last night with about 5,000 tweets. And so I'm reading into this, you know, because I'm a fair fan. I'm obviously a Blackhawks fan, so you know I'm ecstatic about this. I'm a realist, for sure. So, you know, it is something to say that I believe out of 8 times the Blue Jackets had been in the lottery with chances to move up in the draft, they've moved down 7 times out of those 8 drafts. It's like you just can't make stuff like that up. And as we'll get into, you know, if it's rigged or not, that's kind of something we may bring up. But Columbus, they kind of get shafted here a little bit.
Shafted.
They
definitely got shafted.
They end up at 3. San Jose picks at number 4. Montreal comes in number 5. Arizona number 6. Philadelphia number 7. Washington Capitals number 8. Detroit Red Wings number 9. They were kind of hoping to get up into the range of the Fantilli to keep him in Michigan, but unfortunately that doesn't happen for them. They will pick at number 9. Number 10 is the St. Louis Blues. 11 is the Vancouver Canucks. 12 is the Coyotes again. This pick is from the Senators. 13 is Buffalo Sabres. 14 is Pittsburgh Penguins, who just missed out on the playoffs, snapping their, 11-year streak, I believe it was. 15 is the Predators. 16, Calgary Flames. Round out the draft lottery as you get into the playoffs after that. So the rest is to be seen. We do know Chicago will pick number 1 and number 20. Kurt, just as a casual NHL guy, what is lottery? You know, what do you think of this lottery? What do you think of how this shaped up? And I'll pose you this question. Do you believe the NHL lottery is rigged?
I definitely think questions there as far as it being rigged. I think it's just funny how you mentioned the odds of Columbus getting that first spot multiple times, but ends up moving down almost every time, while Chicago had the most odds of getting 5th or 4th and ended up getting number 1. After just pretty much being devoid of all of their all-time talented players that they've had for the past decade or so.
Yeah, 2 years and 3 years shy of a decade for those guys.
Yeah. They end up with the first pick after most likely getting 5 or 4. I don't know. Seems kind of a little bit fishy. And then the team in Anaheim getting 2, like you mentioned, they didn't want the Canadian phenom to go there in the West Coast
and play all of his regular season games at 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern time,
where less people can to watch it.
Canada, I think Canada's on an even further back time zone, so
their time zone's there for the
that would be even worse. So, you know, as I get into it, like I said, I'm a realist, and I will absolutely say, with how all these dominoes fell all at once, I think it raises some eyebrows for concern, you know. Like I said, I mentioned it to Kurt a little bit, but I said this. I said, Chicago being an original 6 team, you know, losing all of their pieces at once.
Yeah.
And they were going to bring little to no value, little to no energy to the league next year. And just like that, they get the number 1 overall pick. They get the Canadian phenom Bedard, and they sell, what was it, $1.5 million in season ticket sales overnight.
Wow.
$1.5 million.
People in the seats.
He's putting butts in seats, that's for sure. And then, you know, you gotta, then that, like I said, I brought it up to Kurt, it makes Chicago a
attractive landing spot.
Right.
I mean, that's all it usually takes, you know. When you get one good player to build around, that just makes other players want to go there. So now it kind of puts Chicago right back in an ideal rebuild, you know, retool, rebuild.
Right. You know, they still got a long way to go, and I don't think this will make them, you know, good at all. I think
not overnight.
I think they could even end up still being pretty bad as a team next year. But that the GM Kyle Davidson said this is a piece, and it's a great piece to start with. You know, it's a franchise.
Start somewhere.
It's a franchise centerpiece after you just lost, you know, your cornerstone to the
multiple
of the Blackhawks for the last decade, like Kurt mentioned. So just a unreal night for Chicago, like he said, you know, going in expecting 5 or 4, and then we climbed the boards, and of course
you can't ask for anything better.
Right.
Honestly, right. I couldn't even imagine being like, we'll probably get 5 or 4. You know, we'll probably still get a pretty solid player, but not one of the best players. And then you get the number 1 spot. I couldn't even imagine how that'd feel.
5 and 4 just kind of came like nothing, and then like we said, we'll start to mention the box stuff from ESPN, but just with Columbus, you know, getting 3. And then obviously for me, you know, you guys know I'm a real big Blackhawks fan, even bigger Michigan fan. So 2 or 1 was golden with me. You know, I was either getting the Michigan guy that I really wanted, or the generational guy that, you know, I'm super excited to watch grow and develop in the NHL. He's going to be 18 coming into the NHL, like Patrick Kane and like all these guys that ended up doing great things. So he's going to have a lot of pressure, but I am over the moon and overjoyed. And like Kurt said, I mean, it makes Chicago go from like a, you know, I'll tune in when they're on, to a, nope, I got to watch every game now.
Now
like
it's must-see.
Yep, this guy made Chicago must-see TV. And, you know, like I said, like I get into it, is it rigged? I won't say it's rigged, but man, original 6.
It's just crazy how it kind of just fell that way.
Chicago, I believe, had like a 11% chance, maybe even worse, to get the first overall pick, and the ping pong balls farther away. Like, that's what I mean. They don't do it live, but I would have loved to see that happen live.
They had, it says here, they had the 3rd best odds to win the first overall pick at 11.5%. I mean, still, that's a 1 out of 10 chance.
Yep, and they were more. I think they were in the 20s for 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely wild. Bedard is going to be a Chicago Blackhawk. Yeah, the NHL was up in riots last night. 5,000 people talking about it being rigged. But like I said, I'll be fair, and I will say, if I'm looking at that as a Blue Jackets fan right now, man, I am a very angry. That's a wild stat to see them go down in seven lotteries. They've moved down instead of up. That's just absolutely wild.
Worst luck.
Right.
The absolute worst luck.
Couldn't happen to a more deserving team. I'll say that. Tears, you salty tears. You still get tears. I hope you like it. I'm going to talk my crap on this podcast a little bit here. I am so happy. Let's go. Chicago. Connor Bedard. They win the sweepstakes. What do you make of Fantilli got having to go to Anaheim?
He's going to be at Michigan one more year, so I'm kind of curious to see how much better he can really get with one more year. California, from Michigan to California, man, that's got to be a complete switch up. But you know what? I think he'll do just fine over there. I think he'll do his thing, and hopefully they can bring some dogs in there with him. Honestly, I know he'll be scoring to up to the rest of the team.
Right.
But it would have been cooler to see him go to Chicago. But in a sense, you really can't complain.
Yep, that was where I looked at it. I was definitely, as big as a Michigan fan, I was angry for like 2 minutes, and I was like, all right, well now it's like
you probably got the better player.
You hope at least, and
at least you hope.
I think those guys.
There's never a for sure thing.
Yeah, I think
when it comes to drafts.
I think they're both going to be really good, but only time will tell with that. So
that's how it goes with all drafts.
All right, that'll do it for the NHL lottery. Had to get some coverage on that, as that was just absolutely insane. But we will jump back and cover the NHL playoffs that have been going on. We last covered on, Thursday, May 4th? All right, we are going to get this kicked off, NHL playoffs, picking it back up Thursday, May 4th, as this NHL playoffs has been wild. Picking it up, second round action, Toronto Maple Leafs, Florida Panthers. Game number 2. Florida leads the series 1-0. Game number 2 from Toronto. It was a 3-2.
Florida dub.
3-2 Florida dub. Toronto goes into the first intermission up 2-1. Second period, all Florida, 2 goals. They lead 3-2. No goals for Toronto in the second. None in the third for both sides. And it's a big 3-2 win for Florida to claim a massive 2-0 lead.
2 wins on the road.
On the road. Just cannot happen for Toronto. Too hungover after they're finally getting a win in round 1.
First series win.
They're too hungover. They party too hard.
Drunk out the champagne.
I thought it was wild when I was in Roanoke, Virginia for the SPHL playoffs. I was in the after party, and one of the players' family was in Toronto when they won.
Oh, wow.
For that opening round, and he said it was like they won the Stanley Cup. And I think you're seeing that right now.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing that right now out of the Maple Leafs, to be completely honest. You expect that out of the fans, but look at this, man. 0-2, you dropped 2 games at home in the playoffs. Terrible, terrible showing. I look up, Kurt.
Yeah.
End of the second period. Carolina Hurricanes, New Jersey Devils, right? End of the second period. 6-1.
Whoa.
Dude.
They really put it on them that second period.
New Jersey just doesn't have... I knew it. Me and my dad were talking about that today. Alright, we can get back to it. Wow. So, Florida picked up the huge win to start off the night. Then we have Dallas, Seattle Kraken, game number 2, 1-0. The series, Seattle leads after a huge road win.
Yeah.
Dallas obviously known for getting wins at home, but Seattle comes out known for getting wins on the road, and they come out with a massive game 1 win, 5-4 in OT. Game number 2 starts out first period 0-0. Second period, Dallas pours it on 3-1 to gain the advantage going into the third period at home. They add a goal. Seattle can only muster one more, and it's a 4-2 win for Dallas. 1-1 goes the series as the series heads to Seattle. We go to Friday, May 5th now. This is game 2.
Cinco de Mayo.
The only game in the NHL is Carolina, New Jersey.
And oh my God.
Game 2 from Carolina. And as Kurt just said, oh my God. After a scoreless first period, Carolina puts up 4 goals in the second period to jump out 4-0 going into the third. They add 2 more, and New Jersey can only add Muster one goal.
One goal.
Yikes. Yeah. And the tail of the tape in this one was just Carolina's just been too much for them through 2 games.
Sounds like too much firepower.
Right. Way too much for them. New Jersey, they have a war with the Rangers in 7 games, but it just looks like the Carolina Hurricanes are just a much bigger, better, and badder team as they are taking it to the New Jersey Devils right now. They jump out to a huge 2-0 lead.
Commanding lead.
And head to New Jersey for game number 3.
Saturday,
May 6th. The only game on Saturday is Vegas and Edmonton. Game number 2 from Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
This was a 1-series lead for Vegas. They get a home win in game number 1, 6-4, high-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
Game number 2 is another high-scoring 5-1 win, but it's Edmonton getting the big road win to even the series at 1. That's massive.
They open up with 4 in the first.
They put up 4 in the first. Yep, that's wild.
That's one way to set the tone.
Right. Draisaitl, Broussard, McDavid, Draisaitl again, McDavid again. There it is, your stars, your highly drafted. See, like when you start to think about a Bedard, you're kind of hoping for a guy like McDavid. You're gonna see McDavid with 100-point seasons. 2 goals in the playoffs, an assist on another goal. Like this is what it's just kind of what you're kind of hoping for if you're a Blackhawks fan right now. When you're kind of getting comparisons. But also think about he's got the pressure of this on his shoulders right now. McDavid 100-point season. It's like, oh yeah, Bedard, go out there and do that too. You know what I mean?
Big deal.
Fall in line, right? So that's what you're kind of looking at for the pressure he's under. Draisaitl gets the first star in this one with 2 goals. McDavid obviously 2 goals, 1 assist, and Broussard 1 goal, 1 assist. Crazy game 2, Edmonton. Great win on the road. They need to tie up the series. We'll go to Sunday. These 3 games slate, I woke up Sunday morning like a kid on Christmas morning. I saw this slate, I was really mad. I think you're fumbling the bag. You don't have too much games left, obviously, but for a Saturday to only have 1 game, I was kind of upset.
That is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
You feel like you put a lot of your games more on Saturday rather than a Sunday.
Right. But, I saw that, and then I flipped over. I saw that on Saturday, so I flip over to Sunday. I'm like, all right, what do they do for Sunday at least? And this slate did not disappoint. Starting out, Carolina, New Jersey, desperation mode for New Jersey. Game 3 at home, 8-4. What a game.
Explosion.
New Jersey's offense finally exploded. Cannot lie, I was on Carolina in this game. I thought for sure New Jersey was toast. Carolina was steamroll them. New Jersey was washed. They did what they could in beating the Rangers. That was it. And they had other plans. 3 goals in the first period. And,
Carolina with none.
Yeah, and that really sets your tone. Timo Meier, your big acquisition this year. Jack Hughes, your first overall pick from a couple years ago. And then McLeod short-handed. Yeah, that was wild. They got a shorty. They're up 2-0 and they get a short-handed one. And I'm just going nuts. Like, what is going on, Carolina? 3-0. Yeah, I watched every second.
That's a complete turnaround from whopping them to get whopped.
Yeah, I watched every second of this game, and that was really me. I was like, wow, it was crazy. You knew New Jersey was gonna have to come out with something, but I really thought they were overmatched. They come out and they explode for 8 goals, 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, 5-2, and it's just it's over there. Carolina fights back with 2, but 3 more for New Jersey. Absolutely wild. Great first game, 8-4. New Jersey breathes life into the series with the home win, and it's 2-1. 2-1 Carolina, yep. We'll head to Toronto, Florida. Ooh. Game 3 from Florida. This game starts out 1-0 in the first period for Toronto. Desperation mode, down 2-0, on the road, backs against the wall. Toronto first period, 1-0. Florida bounces back, 2 big goals in the second. Toronto gets one, and it's 2-2. 2-2 going into the third. Toronto doesn't want to give it in. Florida doesn't want to give it in.
Stalemate.
It's 0-0 going into overtime. I was on Toronto, putting a live bet and everything. I thought Toronto could get it done. Backs against the wall. But it's Florida. Florida's former number one overall pick, Sam Reinhart, overtime winner to get it done and put Florida up.
I'm telling you, Florida is riding high after that comeback series win over Boston.
Man, 3-1 down. You know, you think they're getting steamrolled. Boston has it. And now, they've not only come out shocked, but dominated.
They've won 7 games straight.
Dominated the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
They're not dominating scores, but 3-0 is 3-0, right?
Yep.
And they're getting it done when they need to. Bobrovsky makes 22 saves, does what he has to, 3-2. And then Reinhart, like I said, just that need for that star. And, like I said, it gives you hope if you're a Blackhawks fan, seeing these guys like McDavid and Reinhart, Hughes come out for the jersey. It's just like you want to see these guys come out and play really well. Right. So, big 3-2 win, and I think you can pretty much put a fork in the Toronto Maple Leafs at this point. They got to come out and, obviously at this point, down 3-0. Phew.
Yeah, it's probably looking to wrap up tomorrow.
Right. The nightcap, Dallas Stars, Seattle Kraken. Game number 3.
Goodness.
This game is from Seattle, and Seattle comes out crazy.
Cracks them.
Kurt puts it well. They come out and they crack them. 7-2 is the score from this one.
It's just so crazy to see how in some of these games, how these teams just have a flurry of scores.
Right.
In one period, then it's like you can't even come back to that. You can't. I don't know.
I think this game also shows how really beautiful and truly great the game of hockey is, right? Because you literally have a defensive game, 0-0, all through one period. It's defense tight, but you're used to high scoring because all these meetings beforehand in the regular season and playoffs have hit the over for betting wise.
Typically,
they've all hit the over. And so you're here at a stalemate here. Then they explode for 6 goals in one period.
You can't count. That's crazy.
And Seattle, they give their home fans something to cheer about here. Eberle scores, Weinberg scores, Saucy scores, Matty Benier scores.
Everyone
Ty
got a little
Gord, Schultz. Everybody that was worth anything for Seattle got into the 7-2 win. They just had a fun time in front of their home crowd and rout Dallas 7-2. And that's huge going into game number 4. Seattle takes a huge 2-1 lead.
That starts a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, if Dallas wants any chance, I feel like that's a must win.
Yep. But then what's crazy is Seattle's so good on the road, you can't count on Dallas.
That's what I'm saying.
At home, so yeah. Nuts. All right. Before we get into today's matches, we got to talk about last night. Vegas, Edmonton, game number 3 from Edmonton. And this one was, man.
Edmonton just came out flat.
Yeah. Edmonton comes out flat. Game 3. Home crowd. Nothing going for them, really.
Coming off of a win on the road.
Right. It's 2-1 after 1. And then 3 goals for Vegas in the second period. Nothing going for the third for either team. Yeah. 5-1. What is your... I want to see the shot totals in this one. 24 saves. Oh, yeah. Yeah, in this game, the Vegas starter gets injured in the first period.
That's what I'm seeing.
Early in the first period, he makes 4 saves in this one. Saves 3 of them, gives up a goal, and then gets injured early in the first period. And they're saying he might not be back at all, playoffs or anything. So this Hill backup comes in and makes all 24 saves on the road. That's huge in the playoffs. Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, to step up in a situation like that and not allow any points through 2 periods, that speaks volumes.
5-1, massive. And it looks like, I guess, what did McDavid do? He had, 3 shots? No, 3 shots on goal? Is that it? Man, McDavid's got to be in the 4 or 5, I feel like. That's crazy. He was a -2 on the ice. Bad one for McDavid. Great game for Hill, though. Way to stand on his head. And I think that was probably the more important thing. It was just, Hill having to come in, playing that backup role, and just coming in prepared and ready and standing on his head, making all the saves. So, good for him and gives Vegas a huge, comfortable lead. Now they can, they can give up a 2-2 series tie and go back to Vegas with a chance to take that big lead. So, Vegas is pretty, and Edmonton, you got some work to do now. Home ice down 2-1. Let's go, McDavid. Let's see it.
Yeah, that game is tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
10 p.m.
Tomorrow. And then we got to get into today, Tuesday, May 9th. We are back with the Carolina-New Jersey series. Game number 4. Carolina with a 2-1 lead. New Jersey exploded for 8. Carolina enters with the left. 6-1.
Yeah, heck of a left hook. 6-1 right now.
Yeah,
in the third.
What a response for Carolina. They give up 8 in their loss. Yeah, they really answer back. As it looks like once again 1-1 going into the first intermission. Hughes and Nika score. And then Carolina with 5 unanswered goals. 6. They scored 6 straight goals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 straight goals to take a 6-1 lead with 11:53 left in the third.
I think it's pretty comfortable to say I think they're going to win this one.
Yeah, at this point it looks like Carolina's going to take that
pending a
literal miracle. 5 goals.
An overtime praying win.
5 goals in 11 minutes? Yeah, I don't think so. So that's going to go up 3-1. Are they New Jersey? Oh my God, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, this is even worse. Oh yeah, this is even worse. Oh yeah, it's probably.
So then they would go
they'll
back
go
to
Carolina next game. Yep. Yeah, this might be curtains. Smid, the savior backup, comes in. Stuns the Rangers, beats them. Just doesn't have it tonight. I also want to see what the shot totals have looked like in this game. Anderson's only saved 18 shots. Oh, they played a different. They pulled them. I think they pulled them. Either. I don't know how to read this chart, but both the New Jersey goalies played. So either Schmidt got injured or they pulled him. But looks like they even went to a different goalie, and
yeah, they did.
Just nothing going for New Jersey. They'll take that loss, and that's even worse. Like I said, I thought it was at first. I thought it was in Carolina this game, but it is in New Jersey, so that is even worse. We'll see if New Jersey has anything left for game number 5.
Which will be Thursday.
Yep. And then obviously we got Stars Kraken tonight, 9:30 puck drop coming in about 15 minutes. Super excited for that.
Yeah, I picked Dallas in that bracket challenge we did, but I'm feeling Seattle with this one. Not gonna lie. I think they pull it off tonight.
You think they get another home win?
Yeah.
That would be really massive.
I think Seattle gets that win tonight.
Because then with Seattle being so good on the road, they could possibly
finish it,
knock out Dallas, which would be huge. Yeah, I mean, I like Seattle. Like I said, I think I might have picked them to win this round. I wish I had them beating Colorado.
Yeah,
I'll have to look, but
you have to go back and check.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be a wild game. Cannot wait to watch that. That'll pretty much do it. Kurt, what are your thoughts? What do you think of these NHL playoffs?
It's honestly really crazy just to kind of see how these games go. Just how one team just obliterates the other team, and then the next game it's the complete opposite.
It's beautiful.
It's crazy to see how one team can play so good and the other team just really crap the bed, and then the scripts flip the other game. It's
a magical.
It's
thing.
like hard to decide who's gonna really win the series.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's a magical thing in hockey, man. It really is. How you can just be so bad and be so low one night and come out and just flip.
It's just one game and then boom.
Completely. That's what's so good about series, and
it's definitely different than what I'm used to. That's for sure. One game, it's great, but sometimes it's not great.
I think you should really try to watch some of these playoff games, Corey. You'd probably find some enjoyment in it, honestly. For sure. So that'll set up the NHL playoffs through Tuesday, and whenever we pick it back up for the next one, we will cover it again and see where we stand. So that'll do it. NHL playoffs are all caught up, and we can head to the NBA?
Ooh, so we left off on Thursday with NBA as well. And that brings us to the Lakers versus Warriors, Game 2 in Golden State after the Lakers pull off a Game 1 win. They got mollywopped Game 2. Stephen Curry, not even Curry, Klay Thompson went off. And the Warriors shot really well from 3, if I recall, yeah.
Yeah.
Klay got 30, Curry with 20, and the Lakers just couldn't really... Anthony Davis was abysmal. Up and down.
Right. Oh, yeah, he looked awful.
Inconsistent.
Yeah.
Couldn't score. And so the Warriors just took it to him and were able to tie it back up 1-1.
That's pretty wild to me that Curry only puts up 20, but the Warriors put up 127 as a team.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Michigan is. Live by the 3, die by the 3.
100%. Yeah, they are the definition.
Golden State is a small ball team, and they just...
They're the definition of live by the 3, die by the 3, that's for sure.
100%.
Big 27-point win, though. That's wild.
Yeah, it was definitely surprising. So then Friday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Boston, 1-1 at this point, goes to Philadelphia and pulls off a win. A big win for them. Jason Tatum with 27, Jaylen Brown with 23. That's just what those two do. They carry that team. The Sixers, James Harden, after that 45-point game, just comes up small.
Oh, yeah, that was awful. Yep.
Joel Embiid with 30 and 13, just doing what he does, even being injured with that knee injury. But nonetheless, the Celtics come out with a big win and take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, definitely massive for them. Especially they got that one in Philadelphia right now.
Yeah, taking to them there. Friday night, we saw the Denver Nuggets play the Suns and Phoenix. And at this point, the Nuggets were up 2-0.
Yep.
After winning their 2 home games. And the Suns needed to win this game, and they do.
47 out of Booker. 6 rebounds.
He's been insane this playoff run. I would say
Holy, look at Jokic. 17 assists out of a center. I don't really watch the Nuggets play too often, but I gotta see how he gets those assists.
Jokic,
does he play like point guard? Like, does he get the assist?
He'll pull sometimes. He'll play point, but his passing is phenomenal.
I would say, what does he usually do? Just pass out of the post, pretty much. But
he'll do that, but he'll do bounce passes to players that are, cutting to the paint. Like his
right.
Yeah, Jokic is crazy. Not much of a defensive interior guy, definitely not. But like his offensive game is just wild. Can shoot. I mean, he can do anything.
Yeah.
But
look at what the Booker had to do everything in his power to get that.
The Suns needed everything they could get out of Booker.
They got 39 out of KD too. Wow.
Yeah, for the
KD
Suns
shot terrible.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Really bad for him.
Booker shot amazing.
Booker
20 or 25.
I would say him or Jimmy Butler have been the best player in the playoffs.
Yep,
Booker has been
100%.
I think I saw something like
I seen his list of games.
He scored the most points throughout these 9 games they played or whatever since like Jordan. And this dude's been money. Highly efficient. And so the Suns were able to get a big win here, and
20 or 25 is unheard of. Like
that's
wow.
Mid-range threes. He's got it.
That is wild.
So a big win for the Suns as they are able to get the series 1-2. So that'll bring us to Saturday. New York Knicks at Miami after Miami pulls off 2 wins on the road, and the Knicks just could not really score. He'd been pretty much bodying them up and just clamping. Jimmy Butler leads them with 28. This is what he's been doing. He's just been leading the Heat in scoring. Bam with 17, 12 boards. The Knicks, Jalen Brunson's been real good for them. 20 points. Nobody really else there. I mean, Julius Randle 14 and 10, but the Knicks just couldn't score, and the Heat take it to them as they lead in that series 2-1.
Yep.
So
2-1. That's I expected that. I wouldn't say I definitely consider.
Yeah, I definitely picked the Heat to beat the Knicks.
Right.
So then Saturday night we had the Golden State Warriors going to LA for their first road game And the Lakers just took it to them. Absolutely took it to them. They won this game 127-97.
Yeah, got him back for that disappointing game earlier in the series and hit him right back.
Yeah, AD was huge in this game, led with 25. D'Angelo Russell was killing it with 21. LeBron with 21. When you get 3 scores of 20-plus, you're usually going to win.
Yep. And
Golden State, as we mentioned, live by the 3, die by the 3. Curry with 23, Clay with 15. And I tell you, something we didn't mention is Jordan Poole has not played well at all.
No.
This series. And I think that's a big reason why they're not really playing too well. So
yeah, when he's in double digits with a couple made threes and getting his rhythm, that's usually when it seems like Golden State's finding success. And when he's not, they're just been.
They don't have nobody to answer AD. They don't have an interior player like that outside of Looney, but he's more of a boards kind of guy. Just can't really defend too well. So yeah, the Lakers take the lead. Saturday night, 2-1.
Massive to get that win, and LA needed it. Definitely didn't want to see the Warriors get that win and go up on the road.
No. That will take us to some games Sunday, and this was a very good game. Sixers, wow. Celtics.
Only 9-8 in OT.
Overtime win with the Celtics with a poorly drawn up play there at the end to win the game. Not sure why Boston's rookie head coach, didn't take a timeout and draw up something better, but Sixers with a great performance at home to tie up the series 2-2.
Harden.
James Harden, after a poor showing, comes back with 42. Vintage Houston, James Harden, and then Joel Embiid, 34 minutes, 13 boards. I mean, what else can you ask for there?
Right.
And Boston, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown with 23 and 24. Tatum with 18 boards. Wow, that's crazy.
Right.
And, yeah, the Sixers 2-2 series tied up.
Massive. I figured this was going to be a slugfest for each team, so.
Yeah, I definitely thought this series was going to go 7. I think it will.
Yep, it's definitely safe. With it sitting 2-2, I think it definitely goes 7. No team's winning back-to-back till 7. So.
No. Sunday night, Game 4 of Denver and Phoenix saw the Phoenix Suns winning a very close game. Again, led by Durant and Booker. Booker with 36. Durant with 36 points, too.
Wow.
Booker with 12 assists.
Jokic with 53.
Jokic with 50. First center to score 50-plus points in a playoff game.
Yeah, that's
11 assists. I mean, Jamal Murray with 28.
What can you even say? What can you even say, man? That is just absolutely.
Yeah, I watched this game. It was a all offense. Just not even anything you can do on defense. Just players making crazy shots.
I've been watching a lot of the hockey games, but I'm kind of angry that I haven't gotten to watch these games.
Yeah, I've been watching the NBA games I could watch, actually, the ones that are on at a decent time.
Right.
And this is one of those ones that I watched, and it was pretty good.
For sure.
Phoenix with a big win, tying it up 2-2 after being down 0-2.
Yeah,
and not looking good.
That series is probably going 7, I'd imagine.
Those were the games Sunday, and that'll bring us to yesterday's matchups starting off with the Heat at home against the Knicks. The Heat with a 109-101 win. Jimmy Butler again, 27, 10, and 6. Bam Adebayo with 23 and 10. The Knicks, Julius Randle, 20 points. R.J. Barrett with 24, then Brunson with 32. You still play good, and you're not good enough to beat Miami. Right. That's just what it is.
Right.
Miami is just a veteran, solid team, and they're built for these moments, and they're able to get this win. Commanding lead 3-1 as it heads back to New York.
I think maybe New York stayed alive for game number 5.
They're playing for their lives that next game, which is tomorrow.
Right. But at this point, I think I'm probably going with Miami in 6. So good on the Heat. Butler keeping it going, and the Heat's chugging right along right now in the East.
That'll bring us to last night's game.
Oh, this was huge. Daily bet. LA Lakers -2.5.
Got it. Book it.
Book it.
Lakers with a win at home, 104-101 after Curry. I mean, he carried them, but
31, 10, and 14.
Carried them, but he missed a couple shots down that final stretch to get a win or at least tie it.
Listen to this. I saw a stat today on ESPN that they posted.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
0-14.
Yep.
In potential game-winning shots in the playoffs.
Yep, he is.
Dude.
I've been saying that for the longest time. Curry's great, but in the playoffs, I feel like he's just not clutch.
He had 2 great looks last night.
Yep.
And I will say that.
He had AD on him.
Right. I will say that. Curry had 2 very makeable looks last night.
Yep.
And my daily bet, that's why I said that was LA Lakers minus 2.5. So those Lonnie Walker free throws at the end last night, I sweated those out.
Sweating.
I really needed to make those. Whew. But, yeah, I thought for sure Curry was hitting one of those shots, man. It was crazy that he missed those. But 0-14 in game-winning shots in the playoffs is absolutely bonkers, especially for somebody of Curry's stature.
Magnitude.
So, right.
The greatest shooter of all time.
But more importantly, I mean, look at the Lakers here. Commanding 3-1 lead. Anthony Davis is finding his stride. And it just looks like
LeBron with 27.
Yeah, it looks like the
almost
Warriors aren't going to have enough.
AD with 23 and 15. And the Lakers with a huge... No matter how you do it, you got the win. It was scrappy. You can never, you're talking about the NBA champs and the Warriors, and to get this win was massive for them. And now they just need to win one more and close this thing out.
Right. So, I mean, you want to look at that though. Look at Poole and how we've been talking about him being bad.
Yeah.
He had no points in this matchup.
He didn't even play.
10 minutes played.
Oh man.
Like I don't know if he got injured, but 0-4, he probably got just 0-2 from 3, and it was just like, well.
He probably just wanted to mess with a different lineup. It looks like they went.
I mean, he played Curry 42 minutes, Klay Thompson 41 minutes, so it's like you really.
Draymond a crap ton, and Andrew Wiggins was out there.
Still only played Gary Payton 23 minutes. So
yeah,
that was kind of
off
weird.
The bench.
Very, very interesting, but Lakers commanding 3-1 lead. I think they probably get it done in 6 games.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident in saying that as well, too. So that'll bring us to Game 5 right now in Boston. About 8.5 minutes to go left in the fourth quarter, and the Sixers are taking it to Boston.
All over.
Wow. Joel Embiid with 29. Maxey, their point guard, with 21. James Harden with 17, 8 and 7. That's crazy. And the Celtics, Jason Tatum is killing it, 34. And nobody's getting boards for Boston. Oh my gosh, nobody's scoring either.
98-81. Wow.
That's pretty uncommon. Usually these NBA games I feel like they're higher scoring now. But Sixers probably looking to get a 3-2 lead, and if I'm not mistaken, now we're going to go back to Philadelphia.
Yes, this game was in
Game
Boston.
6.
Oh, man.
And
this game was in Boston.
That would shatter a lot of people's brackets.
Yeah, yep. With both of my teams would already be out. Mine was Boston, Milwaukee.
So it's looking like potentially both the NBA final teams might be done here, but we will have to see what happens here in the next couple of days. So that'll catch us all up with the NBA. It's been pretty interesting, and we're getting close.
Suns Nuggets play tonight, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be watching that one.
That's a great game, number 5.
Really curious how that's going to go. So that'll bring us to, we're going to slide into some UFC action?
Yeah, we're going to touch on a couple things. There's UFC Charlotte that's happening this weekend, and UFC 288 that happened last weekend. We really just want to touch on a couple things from UFC 288. Mostly just the Sean O'Malley, Aljamain Sterling, matchup, and what we think of that. Following Sterling's decision victory over Henry Cejudo in his return to the octagon after his 3-year semi-retirement.
Yeah.
Cejudo wanted to make a run at things and just got met in a really good champion. Sterling fought really well against Cejudo, and
it wasn't Henry Cejudo undefeated, or had maybe one loss?
I think he had 2 losses.
Okay.
And Aljamain was up there too around that.
Yeah, Cejudo is 16-3, so before this, 16-2.
16-2 going into this fight. Absolutely wild. And he just gets stunned by Sterling. Sterling wrestled. I mean, for being...
So was this, like, definitely for sure Sterling won it? Like, no doubt? Or was it, like, pretty close?
I would say it's pretty close.
Okay.
It was definitely...
It's like a 3-2?
It was 3-2, and it was definitely some people that thought Cejudo won. So
then Sterling won this fight, and then what? Sugar Sean comes in the octagon and starts smack-talking him?
Yeah, Dana allows Sugar Sean O'Malley.
I remember watching the video now. That kind of looked like some WWE stuff. I ain't gonna lie. 100%. I was like, this definitely gives me WWE
I was joking
vibes.
around with it, but I was definitely making some jokes on Twitter, like, quick cutting promo with Dana, because that's definitely what it gave me, too. Like, that was like some, all right, come on, Dana, like, you're doing too much now. But it made for some stuff, good content, but Dana even said, he's like, I shouldn't have done that. That was a bad idea. That almost went bad.
Yeah.
O'Malley goes to throw his cool-ass coat to his coat boy, or so he thought, and he threw it to the other bantamweight guy that's like a part of Cejudo's camp, and that he put it on. That made for like a funny moment in the octagon. That was funny. But I just want to get your take, Kurt. Sterling O'Malley, what do you think? That's the next matchup. Gonna headline Boston 292, I do believe. What do you make of this matchup?
I feel like I don't know, is he ready for a title shot? I feel like you can make that case. I think this is an interesting matchup of
I was gonna say,
striker versus grappler.
In that division, who else are you really putting him up to see if he's got it, if you're O'Malley? Who else are you really putting O'Malley up against to see if he's got it for a title? I think you just gotta
throw him in there. Yeah, this is the classic grappler versus striker kind of matchup. If I'm a betting man, I'd probably bet with Sterling, to be honest with you. I've never really seen O'Malley, just at least in my remember. I don't remember him really going up against a grappler like this, at least.
Right.
But
that's the problem too. Is like we don't think he's gonna have the grappling, especially if Sterling is good enough to beat an Olympic wrestler at grappling and wrestling. Oh yeah, he's legit.
It's a tough matchup. All fights start up standing, but I've seen it one too many times. The grappler typically beats the striker. But hey, with it being a title fight in 5 rounds, 5 minutes, all it takes is one shot.
Especially from O'Malley, he's definitely got that.
But I do like O'Malley's game. Every time I watch him, he's always exciting, entertaining. He's got really good stand-up. His boxing's pretty good. So I'm going to be tuning in to watch that when this one comes up. That's for sure.
100%. The fight night card from Charlotte this Saturday, May 13th. Rosenstruck versus Amida, the heavyweight main card bout. And before we even get into the card, I at least have something I want to gripe about. I'm sure Kurt will too. Dana, listen very closely. This is America, okay? 3 p.m. this main card starts. 3 p.m. Now, you're going to make me throw a wrench into my whole plans for the day on Saturday to try to sit and watch these fights, because I really want to see like 3 of these fights. But it's like...
Hold on, reread what you said. UFC Fight Night?
Yeah.
Fight Night.
Yeah.
Think about that. This isn't at night. This should be Fight Day. UFC Fight Day.
Yeah. Hey, that is a great point. They shouldn't even be allowed to call this UFC Fight Night 3 p.m. Man.
This isn't overseas.
Right.
This is in Charlotte. This is like hours away from here.
Right.
Why is it on at 3 p.m.?
Right. On score it says 6, but I'm almost positive
it's at it's on at 3 p.m.
So, alright, we griped about that. We're mad about it. Just terrible planning by Dana. Nothing else to be said. Great card. I don't know if I'll be able to throw a wrench in my whole Saturday to sit down for 3 hours and watch this card at 3 o'clock. So, we'll get into the card a little bit. Starts it off, welterweight bout. Kurt, do you know anything about Means or Morano? Welterweight?
No.
I don't really know anything about them either. So, that kicks it off. Morano is 22-8. Means is 32-14-1. Morano is the favorite. I really don't have anything to say about that. We'll go to the next fight. Ian Gary, a.k.a. Conor McGregor Jr., the 11-0 welterweight fighter will take on Rodriguez, who is really, really good in his own right, 17-3. And this makes for a very, very good matchup in the welterweight division to see if this Gary guy is really
legit
or not. I think that's going to be a great fight. Next up, we got Hill versus Dern, a women's strawweight bout, 12-3. Dern, 15-12. Hill. I'm hammering moneyline Dern there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll head to the co-main event. Anthony Smith, Johnny Walker. Anthony Smith, 36-17. He's kind of taken a fall from grace since fighting John Jones all those years back for the title.
Mm-hmm.
But he is, still fighting and, doing the commentary, so good for him. And he's got a good fight. I think that's a really good matchup for him. I think this is kind of a stand and bang kind of fight, and I like it. Walker's good, though.
Yeah, it's hard. I can't really pick who's going to win this one. I think it's just going to be who's ever left standing.
Right. A really, really good fight. For sure. And then we obviously end with Almeida, the 17-2 heavyweight, taking on Rosenstruck, the 13-4 heavyweight. Up and coming heavyweight?
Yeah. Almeida.
For sure.
18-2. Wow. He has 7 wins by knockout and 11 wins by submission?
Oh.
13 first round finishes. Wow.
Oh, that's okay.
I can see why he's the favorite.
Right. So yeah, definitely looks like it's setting up to be a good card.
Hey, I'll see what I can fit in. I'll be off at 4.
Right.
I want to see that. I want to see at least that Ian Garen fight. I want to see that one. And at least the top 3 fights, I'd be cool with.
Right. And to close it out, I just wanted to add some big NCAA college wrestling news as a big 2023 in-state prospect, Cody Kidham, Iowa prospect, goes from the Iowa Hawkeyes to the Iowa State Cyclones. Big in-state rivalry. Iowa, the only thing they really care about is wrestling, to be honest, and so this is their big thing. The dual meet's a really big thing in Iowa, and this is huge to have one of Iowa's most prized recruits go to Iowa State. And the reasoning will even shock you guys some more, I believe. So, the reasoning behind this, apparently, Cheatham didn't like that Iowa was heavily recruiting his former high school teammate, Fiera. They're recruiting his little brother very heavily, and I guess the two just butted heads. Probably pretty nasty if it was bad enough for him to transfer. Or maybe he just didn't want to put up with him for another 4 years. But unfortunate for Iowa to lose out on their, crown jewel wrestling prospect because they recruited somebody else.
I'm assuming we're talking recruits, you kind of get into their their backgrounds and everything. Wouldn't you know about this though being potentially an issue? Right,
and maybe that's why. Maybe Cheatham addressed it, and Iowa might have just been like, well, we have a program to run, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they were just non-sympathetic, and Cheatham was like, okay, well, if you're not going to be sympathetic over what I really care about, I'm going to go to your rival, and that makes a huge matchup, and they were already saying those two matching up at the same weight for the Iowa State duel.
Ooh.
So that would be absolutely epic, but that's wild. Just some crazy news in the wrestling scene as we'll kind of just throw little tidbits here and there, getting through the off season and just getting these podcasts up. We are 275, and as this one comes to a close, just a quick thank you guys for 75 episodes. We've been chugging along for a year and some change now, and we don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So
nope.
We hope you guys
no chance
enjoyed this one. We will bring you guys back next time. And with that will come more playoffs, probably some UFC, and whatever news comes about. So
whatever's cracking.
Right. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 75. It's 75. In the books. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Daily bets going up everywhere. TikTok's been going pretty good.
I'm gonna get on that soon.
Yep.
I'm gonna get on that soon.
Appreciate the support on all that. And with that being said, Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. Peace.
Peace out.